Here's a 23-year-old female. She does honey and royal jelly. She's a strict vegetarian. Good girl. 80% raw, that's good. She was 100% raw for a short time, and her MD said her phosphorus, she had phosphate or phosphorus deficiency. You know what? I don't go by blood work when it's low proteins and things like that. It's common with this. When you're eating fruits and vegetables, you're getting the proper ratio of phosphorus that you need. If you got something antagonistic to phosphorus in your body, then you'd want to detox your body and get that out of there. And this is the problem with isolating chemistry. If you took a lot of calcium supplements, or you're taking calcium supplements, it's antagonistic to phosphorus. Even though the phosphorus is the little brother, too much calcium or magnesium pushes out phosphorus. So don't isolate chemistry. This is why I don't isolate chemistry. But fruits and vegetables has the proper ratio of phosphorus to cal to mag to all the other brothers and sisters. So you can't be deficient in phosphorus if you're eating fruits and vegetables. I've never ever seen that. On a blood work, you might see some up and downs with that, but look at what else you're doing and taking, what supplements, and get rid of the supplements, because I see nothing here. Now, we could be back to the adrenals and kidneys again here. You see this a lot in dialysis, where the phosphorus and potassium go crazy, and then they give you phosphorus binders and that crap, but that's dialysis, acid stripping the blood. So it's common to have lower proteins on a vegetarian diet. Okay, but I wouldn't sacrifice your diet with what they told you to eat, because you know what they told you to eat, and you know that's not healthy. So you could have some other antagonistic chemistry inside of you that's pushing out your phosphorus, and I would keep detoxifying myself, power up with the green drinks then, and go on down the line there. Soda, high phosphorus. You know what happens when you do high phosphorus? Bye-bye calcium. So you play this game like this. All right, bring up your phosphorus, there goes your calcium and magnesium. Bring up your calcium, magnesium. Oh, wait a minute, there goes my phosphorus. And this is a game you can't win. I'm a biochemist. I played this game for years, and it's like, whoa, wait. No, don't work. It will never work. I don't care who thinks they're as smart as they are. Let's see. Didn't you have a hard time, do I remember, with your family? Your ferritin levels are sky high. Now, that could be antagonistic to phosphorus, you know. But again, I would clean up my adrenal glands and clean out my liver and clean my spleen too. I'd clean the spleen, the liver, and get the adrenals up, and all that'll balance out there. I stopped taking my prescription of iron. Oh, well, here we go. You know, see, this is the problem with this. Dealing in iron, you're dealing in the adrenal glands, believe it or not. Clean the spleen, because that cleans the blood. Clean the liver up, and get your blood cleaned back into shape. We got a good blood formula, but clean the liver, the spleen, get your adrenals working, and all this will come into balance. This is why you can't isolate chemistry, and particularly iron, toxic if you're not careful. So, iron chelator. Still, that might be causing the low phosphorus. You got to be real careful with using chemistry to get the body healthy, because man doesn't have that kind of brain. And you can see from the lady before, it's been naturopath, and this I see constantly. For those naturopaths that are listening, you got to get with this, because you're giving everybody a bad name by using supplements. Can't do that. Doesn't work. I get all your clients in here with bags of their supplements, and they're bitching about the high dollar they spent with you, and they're still in the same boat. So that's not true naturopathy. True naturopathy is what we're doing here. And that's what you want. That's the purest form of healing on the planet. That's the top of the mountain. And that's where you want to be today. That's where you get your reputations. Let me help you get your reputations up there. She's done so. I'm feared I've done so much damage already, according to my doctors. Relax, sweetheart. Relax. Relax. Take control. You've been disempowered by these doctors. Grab control. Empower yourself. You know the answer. Start letting God, the diet, nature, whatever you want to call it, let that do. Get that good chemistry into the body. Botanicals, full of good chemistry, but they're specific in their focus. Learn what problems men suffer with, the adrenals, the kidneys. And the adrenals, that's where most of your minerals are utilized. So go into your adrenals and make them healthy, whether you use the adrenal herbs or you use adrenal glandulars. It depends how low your blood pressure's been. They're what you need. When you get in these chronic low blood pressures, it isn't easy to get these back up here. That's why we look to a little help from our friends that we don't hurt, you know. Let me see here. Yeah, I mean, you've got to empower yourself, Rossumley, and get yourself back in line here. I guess I'm confused and really want to speak to someone who specializes in bone marrow and blood-related disorders from a naturopathic point of view. Well, you are. And I can just tell you that health is so much simpler, sweetheart, than this, than what you've been doing. And obviously what you've been doing hasn't been working, so get off of that road. Going down the wrong road. You want to get on the road of wellness and regeneration and healing and health and vitality. So you got to think cellular. If you get too much of the chemistry, you end up like you. You've been yanked here, yanked there, and your chemistry in your body is the same way. Yanked here, yanked there. We can't play that game because of antagonistic chemistry. Meaning when we take iron, we shove everybody else around. Can't do that. You can't take calcium, shove everybody else around. You can't take these chelations where you have a lot of minerals. You start unbalancing body chemistry. And so one thing I teach in my school, taking supplements unbalances the body's chemistry. When you take chemistry in its whole form, like you're doing with royal jelly and honey, but do it with alfalfa and the greens, do it with the fruits and the berries, then your body will find its own homeostasis. At the same time, your focus is where it needs to be at the cellular level. Because at the bottom line, the cell is the bottom line. The health of that cell, whether it's an adrenal cell, a thyroid cell, no matter what that cell produces, a particular steroid, a particular hormone, a particular neurotransmitter, the bottom line, that cell's health is what you're after. That is the ultimate, that's where the buck stops, is at the cell. Well, how do you make the cell healthy? You know, well then the next question to that one is, what breaks down a cell? Well, there's only two major fluids that touch every cell in the body, and there's only two sides to chemistry. It's that simple. And if you try to go too far out of that box, you'll get confused and you can't get yourself back. So relax, take it easy, you'll be fine. Just get yourself empowered. Empower yourself, sweetheart. You're awesomely. Empower yourself to be strong and go after this. And with our help, you'll go right down that line and you'll get it here. That's why I'm doing these videos, to empower you to go and get yourself well again. Doing good. Pump some green drinks. If you want some iron, pump some green drinks. But your utilization of iron is more the factor. So clean the blood. Get those enzymes. That'll pull those red blood cells apart. Get those adrenals up. That'll get the utilization of iron. It'll build up the hemoglobin, hematocrit. Clean the spleen. Clean the liver. Get that lymph moving. Get those kidneys clean. And you got it. See? Piece of cake.